Good morning, everyone. How you doing? It is Thursday for me, which means in 2 days, I'll be on a plane heading down to Florida. So this will be the last one for a week. I'll try to log in down there and upload some stuff. It wasn't too much of a hassle. I think it was short little episodes of me drinking coffee on the beach, which I'm sure everybody appreciated. Probably not very much. I'll try to do some updates while I'm down there. I'm going to try to also record that Island Coffee Roasters on New Smyrna. In that area right there, they roast their own coffee. So hopefully I get some pictures, get some video, maybe even talk to somebody. That'd be kind of cool. Before I get started, I was just curious and I was looking up on my phone ratios for the Chemex. First I was looking up grind settings and everybody seems to agree that a nice medium coarse is good for the Chemex and brewing. I also just decided to look up a ratio. And this is interesting to me. It's used 20 grams of coffee for every 325 grams of water. That's a 1:16 ratio. So I wanted to see real quick how many grams this Chemex can hold. So it holds All right, let's pour that out a little bit. Get a reasonable flow here. Okay, so, I've got like a little over 1,000 grams of water right here. And, this is maybe a typical pot of coffee for an office or for somebody that maybe sips coffee all morning. They'll have a pot where it's dripping down, so that's 1,000 grams right there. So I could do 40 grams of coffee, which is really a lot, and then do like 650 grams of water, which I don't think that kettle will actually hold. And we could try that real quick. I'll pour out what I got in there right now. Okay, no. Okay, but it can hold about 1,000 grams of water. All right. Roughly. I probably wouldn't feel safe. There would be a lot of boiling out of the tip here with that amount of water. If we did 650 grams of water and 40 grams of coffee, let's experiment. Let's play today. And while this thing is heating up, we'll choose which coffee we're going to sacrifice for this. Okay, I wonder. 0. There we go. All right. Okay, so I went a little over because, we're going to have steam. And as everything cooks, we're going to have steam. So, just a little bit over is fine. We'll be weighing everything, so that won't be so much of a problem. So it's a weird experiment. It seems like a waste of coffee, but I've got all of this coffee here to drink, so I think we're going to be okay. Even on a medium coarse setting, it'll probably take a little while for it to grind down 40 grams of coffee. And people are being like, what are you doing? That's insane. How can you do that? It's fine. It'll be fine. Everything's fine. Don't worry. I promise everything will turn out okay. All right, so we got our 650 grams of water starting to boil over there. Ta-da. Let's see. This immediately out. Toffee. Blah. Hated that. Didn't like it. Bacon. We had spaghetti carbonara last night with guanciale in it. Bacon, don't really feel it right now. So we've got our scotcheroo flavored coffee. And then the surprise favorite of mine, the coconut and caramel flavored coffee, which probably... I've just answered my own question. Bones Coffee, the Crusader Cup's great, but this Darling Delight surprised the hell out of me at how much I really enjoyed it. According to this ratio that I randomly found on a Google search, that's so nice. We're gonna do 40 grams of coffee. We're gonna see what that looks like here. I am gonna try to be kind of precise about it. 40.4 grams, so that's what we're looking at. And this is what we're looking at here. So there's a pretty good amount of beans there. I do have medium coarse, and we're gonna start. Perfect. Such a wonderful smell. All right, we got it. 40 grams. Okay, perfect. Step 1 and step 2 done. Step number 3, probably the easiest one of them all. Putting this together and then talking. I don't know, just this morning I'm like, you know what, what's the best coffee grind setting for Chemex? Because, you know, you kind of lose the plot. You do a bunch of things, you try out different stuff, you know, and then you're like, what's the basic? What's the basic thing? And the basic thing is medium coarse. Of course. I mean, there's quite a bit of coffee there. Yeah. Putting it in that funnel makes it look a little less like... But the smell is fantastic. It's hard for me to believe that I just used to hate coconut so much I didn't bother with it. It is Thursday. The sun is shining every once in a while. It's not as windy so far. I know I had to go out and adjust the front doormat at least 3 times in the past 2 days because the wind has just blown it off into the corner, which it's nice that it's kind of in a recessed area, so when the wind whips through there, it just blows up against the door rather than being blown into the stratosphere and into a place where we can't find it because it's a brown mat. You see, both of our names are Matt, so it's very funny. It was a housewarming gift from our last house that a dear friend gave us. And we just loved it, and we've tried to keep it nice, and it's been at our front door for, God, a very long time now. Oh, we're hot! And so's the water. That's right, I said it. All right, so, shouldn't have cooked off too much of the water. Let's see what happens. Start the timer. We're gonna give ourselves a little bit of a bloom phase here. Probably a little bit more bloom water than normal. No, 80 grams, that's pretty good for that amount of bloom water. The smell it just gives off immediately is absolutely fantastic. Oh, what a delicious smell. I'll let that go for another 10 seconds. Let everything wake up, let the gases release, and then let the fun begin. I like the pour on this kettle. I'm sure that there are kettles with much better pours, but I really like how this feels. I think the top here can only hold around 400 grams, so we're gonna have to build kind of slowly here, and then probably let drain. And then we'll add the additional 200 plus once it's found its way down through. It's draining really well. And yes, that's a lot of coffee, I understand that. But I won't drink it all in one sitting. It'll be in the pot and I'll probably have it throughout the day. I still have one more editing session with the Stitch Lego. Almost there, not a lot of water left. Hopefully we'll get there. Part 7, I've got them all uploaded, done and uploaded except for part 7. Part 7 might be a little longer because I've got some beauty shots of the Lego that I'm going to include in the end. It's sitting on a turntable. It's still sitting on the turntable even though I did all of that last week. Let's get the last 50 out here, right? 40, 50, 2, 3, 2. Okay. Perfect. A little swirl. Adjust a little bit here. There we go. See this spout? Somebody put like a chopstick down there to keep it from sealing, so that air would pass through. But then I'm just thinking to myself, it'd be better if it were like a big straw. I put a big straw down there, because if you put a chopstick down in there, that's just going to create a weirder suction, I think. But it's the airflow is necessary in order for it to not seal up or anything like that. Okay, so we're getting at least a 3-minute drawdown here, but it's a lot of coffee and a lot of water. So it just smells so nice. That's exciting. It's the most coffee I think I've done yet. I mean, that's probably what, 3-4 normal cups? And here I am with Old Faithful here. Yep, almost a 4-minute drawdown there. I still hear it tinkling, so it might be a 4-minute drawdown. You're still tinkling, aren't you? It's a steady stream. It's a stream, but it's a steady stream. 4 minutes before it started bloop, 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 blooping. Awesome. Very good. That's awesome. I don't know why it's awesome. I just set goals, short goals for myself. And I'm like, if it does that, it's going to be awesome. And then it does that, and it's awesome. And then it doesn't do it. I'm like, well, I'll try again later, you know. But anyway, that's a lot of coffee. Got such a nice smell to it. It's a nice color. It's a nice little amber color. There we go. Yeah, quite enough left for a second cup, should it be necessary. And it will be necessary because this is delicious. Yeah, boy. Just something about that coconut and caramel that they've infused that coffee with. And it's just a nice kind of neutral coffee. It's not too bitter. It's not too, I mean, it's a medium roasted, so it's not acidic at all. There's no acid in this at all. It is definitely more on the bitter side because of the roast and how it's been infused with, you know, however they infuse it. It just tastes so good. I really like it. Every once in a while, their commercial will pop up on YouTube, and it's like, I can do that. This is the exact same thing. I might even have better equipment. Probably not. But I'm like, I can do that. Why don't they ask me to do that? Because I don't exist. I'm actually generated AI. That's another thing I see on, oh God. I see them on YouTube. It was like there were none, and then there were hundreds. Like it's like 2 days. There was like a 2-day period where it went from like none to chat GPT or whatever the hell it's called, that AI thing. And it's not even AI. You're just typing words and it's text to speech. You know, you're just typing out a script and it's just text to speech. It's not like you're feeding it pictures of your product and then telling it a few things about the product and it's generating this giant 30-second, 15-second commercial. You know, it's lines of dialogue being typed in, and then it's just a text-to-speech program that's a little bit more advanced than it used to be. But if you sit there and listen to it, you can immediately hear like no breath pauses and words being run together and words being said in a weird way and weird inflection. Inflection is a huge thing that totally tips me off and turns me off of a commercial when I can hear that it's AI. It's like immediate skip, you know. So it's just really funny how many AI it's not AI, it's chat, it's text to speech. It's not even AI. People are using AI as a general weird broad term, and it's just not AI. That's text to speech, is all of those commercials being read by computer. Yeah, that's not AI. The inflections are you know, and everything like that. It would be, I think if it were like an AI model, it would be a lot more natural and a lot more difficult to tell the difference. But in the case of text-to-speech, stuff like that, to be honest, an unfortunate step in some of my friends that do voiceover work, it's a wonder this stuff has not been used before. You just buy a text-to-speech program. It's got like maybe 3 or 4 different voices on it. And then you just type stuff up and you tweak it as you go, maybe to get inflections right or whatnot, depending on the suite. And then you just upload it with pictures of your product. I have seen, and it is the most hilarious and dumbest thing. I have seen people overlay text to speech to an actual person saying something completely different. Their mouth, it's forming completely different words, but they are using that person and then a text to speech program to make it seem like, I guess it's for people with bad eyesight, or if people still are using tube TVs that have scan lines and you can barely tell, or it's in the background, I guess, and you don't really even notice and you just let the commercials play and don't think about it, that kind of a thing. But, it's just so funny to watch them use other people making hand gestures and talking into a camera, like their face right in the camera. It's an actual person, but they're using text to speech. And it's really mind-blowing how that stuff works. And the text to speech is so bad. And especially when it tries to do accents. I guess what's worse is when it tries to not do an accent, when it's just like the male number 3, the Toledo, Ohio male number 3, no accent. And the inflections are just terrible. They end with an up on the end of a sentence rather than like a down inflection or even just a straight inflection. They'll do a straight inflection with no emotion, and it's just, it's just awful. This is terrible. People need to start fighting back somehow, because it's just quick, easy, fast. Here's your 30-second commercial. I've typed the script out. Let's just film some of our product and then maybe sneak in some shots of other people's stuff that looks similar to ours, and then some Getty Images GIFs, just so it can look like there's movement. And it is just, we are definitely hitting a low point when it comes to that kind of media stuff. We are just getting to the bottom of the barrel. And unfortunately, that text-to-speech stuff is just going to get better and better. It's going to put people like my friends out of a job, which is really sad. There is a whole art to reading, and text to speech in commercials is just, to me, it's just the worst. And that's just the old guy in me talking, the old radio guy. There was a point in radio when people from other markets were voice tracking for our market. So someone in Iowa did the midday thing, the midday shift, and then would send that package over to another radio station here in Ohio, and then they would upload that to our computer. It was all commercials and music. There were no contests or anything. They could get away with it, and it could sound local, but it was from someplace else, so they wouldn't have to hire somebody. And then, they would consider that part of that DJ's job to voice track that, so they wouldn't get any more money for being in that market. So it was just, that was kind of like the beginning of the end for everything, when people in other markets were voice tracking and recording audio, recording breaks. And it was Gwen Stefani, here on blah, 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 and coming up next, because they have the list of songs. They would just fax them or email them the list of songs, and you would see where your breaks were. So you would just say, this is going into this song, or this is coming out of this song, or this is going into this break. Then they would have like commercial sponsorships that they would just read off of a card. So that would be included in the recording or the voice tracking. So, and you wouldn't know the difference, because it's basically a jukebox with commercials at that point. It's basically what it is. You don't have anybody live there, and it's basically a jukebox. And that was like the beginning of the end of everything. There's a starting point when people were like, how can I save more money? How can I save more money? And it was voice tracking to where we are now using text to speech in order to do voiceovers on commercials. That's where we're at. It's going to get worse. But it's a slow burn, but it's going to get worse. So, and that's my rant about radio and commercials and text-to-speech today. It's a very silent struggle for everybody else, but the people that are in that medium of, commercial readers, people that read books on tape, books on CD, or books on download, on Kindle, whatever, maybe even getting to the point where they won't need voice actors anymore for cartoons. You can just, Mel Blanc could be programmed now, but it's not AI. It's not AI generated. It's text to speech. And those voices that they use are just zeros and ones programmed with inflection. That's not AI. Those commercials are not AI generated. They are text to speech with editing, so. Anyhow, enough of that rant. I hope you have a great day. I hope you have a great weekend. Like I said, I'll try to check in while we're down there, but more than likely we'll be spending our time together on the beach, probably be making some coffee. Definitely be going to that Island Roasters to get another 2 bags of my favorite stuff, the Peruvian and the Timor, both very delicious coffees. Maybe try a third. Maybe we'll bring back a third. I'm going to have to pare down the coffee that's up in the cabinet, but we'll figure it out. Have a nice time. We'll see you on the other side. I'll see you in a week. Have a great day. We'll talk to you later. Bye.